welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. Today, I'm going to do another tag. And this is Feeling Sentimental tag, where I talk about my 3 probably most important scent memories. I was tagged by the lovely Tara from Olfactophiles. If you haven't checked out her channel, you absolutely must. She has an incredible collection and she's so well spoken and put together and just produces such high quality videos. You absolutely must check her out. I will link her below, of course. And I would also like to tag 2 beautiful ladies that I enjoy watching. One of them is Ollie's mom, and the other one is Anna Absolu. Both do incredible videos. Definitely check them out as well, and I hope you ladies will do this tag as well. So when I was tagged by Tara, it really took me a little bit of time to think about this one, and this is a slightly challenging tag for me because I am, in real life, I am a very private person, which many of you might think strange to say for someone who does YouTube videos, and yet that's the truth. My videos are about fragrances. I talk about what I think about them, I like them, I don't like them, I share my new finds, etc. But this tag relates these fragrances very much to my personal memories and my personal life. So I'm really nervous about doing this one, but I consider all of you my virtual friends, and so I thought, well, I can share a little bit about myself and my memories with you. So let's start with the tag. The first fragrance that I'm going to share with you is really an old fragrance and not very much talked about these days, and that's Poem from Lancome. And for me, this fragrance always brings a memory of my mom. So when I was growing up, my mom had the type of job where she was not able to wear fragrance, so she never did. And then later on in life, we moved, she got a new job, and she was finally able to wear fragrances. And I think this was one of her first purchases, but definitely the one that she used the most. Obviously not this bottle, I just mean this scent. And if you're not familiar with the scent, this came out in the mid-90s. There are a lot of notes in this scent. I'm not going to go over all of them, but basically there are a lot of florals, white florals and other florals. There's tonka bean, vanilla, fruity notes, green notes, woody notes. There's a ton of them. You can look it up on Fragrantica. This is definitely, to me, this is an old-fashioned kind of smell, and to me, this is really about very heady, strong white florals. Definitely tuberose in here, other white florals. So I cannot wear this scent, but I have this bottle that I often take out and I smell, and it always makes me think about my mom because once she was able to wear fragrances, she used to wear this one the most, and it always makes me think about her. And right now, and for many years really, we've live in very far apart in different countries, and I definitely love taking it out and smelling it. Unfortunately, I can't use it myself. Like I said, for me, it is just way too much. It's very strong and very powerful white floral, but always makes me think of her. So this is my scent memory number 1. Second one is YSL's In Love Again. This is a relatively new fragrance in my collection, and overall it came out, I remember, around 2011, something like that. But as I mentioned in a few previous videos, I believe that, and I've read many reviews, also people saying that this is a very close dupe to YSL's Baby Doll, and my memory is associated with Baby Doll. Baby Doll was the first sort of grown-up, luxurious, fancy fragrance that I was able to purchase somewhere when I was studying in university. Up to that point, I always enjoyed fragrances, but I could never afford something so luxurious and expensive, and I wore, you know, more affordable fragrances. But that was my first introduction to the world of luxury, and I was so proud of myself that, you know, I worked hard, I was able to save up money, and I bought the fragrance, and I absolutely loved it, and I wore it for years, and I've repurchased it multiple times. Unfortunately, right now I'm not able to find it. I know that it's discontinued, but when I heard that In Love Again is a very close dupe, I definitely wanted to purchase it and to try it out. So this is fruity, floral, musky type of scent. It has berries, grapes, rose, peony, musk, and it's a fruity, musky, peony. It's very girly, sparkly. It's a beautiful fragrance, but it definitely reminds me of my university days and my first introduction into the world of luxury fragrances, and of being just so proud and feeling real sense of accomplishment that I was able to afford something like this, that, you know, my work basically paid off. So reminds me of my youth and sort of, I guess, my accomplishments in a way. But this is YSL's In Love Again, which brings up the memories of YSL's baby doll. My third scent memory is Flora Botanico from Balenciaga. I believe this fragrance came out in 2012, I think, and I purchased my first bottle pretty soon after it came out. And this is the fragrance that I was using when I found out that I was pregnant with my daughter, which was in 2013. Like I said, this was, I think, new fragrance to my collection at that time, and I really fell in love with it and wore it all the time. And then my daughter was born in the spring, and I especially love wearing rose scents in the spring. So month leading up to her birth, I was wearing this. I think most of you are familiar with the scent, and I mentioned it a few times. This is a rose fragrance. It has mint, rose, cannabis. I don't smell cannabis. This is kind of a dry, minty rose, pretty strong. So this always makes me think about my daughter, and now that she's a little bit older, she's 6 now, she loves playing with my bottles and often asks me to tell her stories about some of the bottles. And as you can imagine, this fragrance and the story surrounding it is her favorite, because I always tell her that I was wearing this when I found out that I was going to have her, and when she was born, I was also wearing this one. So this has always been a staple in my collection and will always stay as a staple in my collection. So these are my 3 scent memories, but I have to mention an honorable mention. And that is because this is a fragrance that started it all for me. It started my love of scent. But the reason I am bringing it up as an honorable mention is A, because I don't have a full bottle, and B is because I think that most of you, and quite possibly all of you, will have no idea what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put up a picture here and give you a few seconds, and tell me in the comments below if any of you know what this is. And maybe some of you who follow me on the Instagram will recognize it, because I did talk about this one time. So this, and I'm gonna put a name as well, because I think most of you will not understand it. This is called Shipr from Novaya Zarya. That's the house. And I grew up in the former Soviet Union, and there wasn't a lot of choice. There was hardly any choice of fragrances or anything else for that matter. And this was a cologne, one of very few that were available, that my dad always wore. All my life growing up, I always remember him smelling good. I could always tell when he was coming home from work. I could always tell when he was getting ready to go to work in the morning, because he would never leave the house without using a cologne. And this was the one that he used most of all. This is a very sort of old-fashioned antique kind of cologne. I think it came out in 1889 originally, but it is still being manufactured, and this is a very woody with slight powderiness. If any of you are interested, you can still look it up on Fragrantica and find out a little bit more about this. But I used to love just opening cupboard where my dad kept this fragrance and just smelling it. So this is where my love of fragrance really started growing up. It actually started with my dad, who wore cologne every single day of his life. So there you go. Now you know a little bit more about me. I hope this was somewhat interesting. I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, Tara, thank you for tagging me. And if you like this video, remember to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And I will see you soon in my next video. Bye.